Our university life. The magical land where dreams are born, friendships are forged, and let's be honest, where you often find yourself knee-deep in chaos, confusion, and caffeine. So, grab a snack, get comfy, and let me take you on a journey through some of my most memorable misadventures in university. Let's start with the classic, the first day of classes. Picture this. I'm all pumped, dressed to impress, and armed with a brand new backpack that's practically bursting with neatly organized supplies. I walk into the lecture hall, and it's like stepping into an episode of a sitcom. I'm scanning the room, trying to find a seat, and, of course, I make eye contact with a super serious-looking professor who's already lecturing. I think, okay, I'll just slip into a seat in the back. But oh no, my backpack decides it's had enough of this whole being a backpack thing. As I sit down, it tumbles off my shoulder, and everything inside spills out like a scene from a cartoon. Pens, notebooks, a half-eaten granola bar, and, oh yes, my meticulously printed syllabus go flying everywhere. The entire class turns to look at me, and I'm there, red-faced, trying to gather my dignity along with my things. Welcome to university, right? And then there's the roommate situation. Now, I was lucky. I got paired with someone who seemed cool at first. We bonded over late-night snacks and shared Netflix binges. But then came the reality of living together. Let's just say my roommate had a very different idea of cleanliness than I did. I'm talking about a layer of mystery dust on every surface, dishes piling up like they were auditioning for a reality show, and a fridge that could probably qualify for a science experiment. I tried to be diplomatic, you know, the whole, let's have a chat about our living habits approach. But somehow, that turned into a passive-aggressive post-it note wall that would make even the most seasoned diplomats cringe. Dear roommate, your dirty socks are not a decorative element. Dear roommate, I didn't realize we were running a sock museum. It was a mess, literally and figuratively. Then came the infamous group projects. Ah yes, the joy of collaborating with people you barely know. I once found myself in a group with a self-proclaimed master procrastinator. You know the type. They show up to the first meeting with a big smile saying, "Don't worry, I work best under pressure." As the deadline approached, I started to realize that their version of pressure was more like, let's wait until the night before to do anything. I found myself pulling an all-nighter, fueled by coffee and existential dread, while my group mate was blissfully scrolling through social media. When the day finally came for our presentation, I was a bundle of nerves, while they confidently strolled in, completely unprepared. Spoiler alert, we didn't get the grade we hoped for. Lesson learned. Group projects can either be a dream or a nightmare, and it's usually the latter. Then there's the whole finding yourself phase that everyone talks about. You know, that moment when you're supposed to discover your passions and purpose in life. Well, I thought I'd try everything. I signed up for a pottery class, thinking it would be a Zen experience. Spoiler alert, I ended up covered in clay, looking more like a mud monster than a budding artist. My first project? Let's just say it resembled a lopsided ashtray that nobody would ever want to use. But hey, at least I learned that I'm definitely not cut out to be a potter. I also tried joining a few clubs, from the debate team to the ultimate frisbee group. I quickly realized that debating is a lot harder when you can't remember the last thing you read, and that ultimate frisbee is not for the faint of heart. I spent more time on the ground than on my feet, and my attempts to throw the frisbee were so embarrassing that I'm pretty sure the team is still recovering from the trauma. And let's not forget the food situation. Ah, the dining hall, the place where culinary dreams go to die. I remember the first time I stepped in there, thinking I was about to embark on a culinary adventure. Instead, I was greeted with mystery meat, overcooked pasta, and a salad bar that looked like it hadn't seen fresh produce in weeks. culinary masterpiece, right? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. By the end of the semester, I was living off instant noodles and whatever snacks I could scrounge from the bottom of my backpack. And let's talk about the infamous finals week. If you've never experienced it, let me paint you a picture. It's like a scene from a horror movie, but instead of monsters, you're surrounded by fellow students who look like they haven't slept in days, fueled by a dangerous mix of caffeine and sheer panic. I remember cramming for my history exam, surrounded by stacks of notes and energy drink cans that could rival a small mountain. I was convinced that if I didn't memorize every single date and event, I'd fail spectacularly. Spoiler alert, I didn't fail, but I did walk into the exam room with half my notes crumpled in my pocket and a caffeine headache that could rival a hangover. So there you have it. My misadventures in university, a whirlwind of chaos, laughter, and a few valuable lessons along the way. It's a wild ride, but amidst the chaos, I found friendships, discovered my limits, and learned that it's okay to stumble a little. Because at the end of the day, university isn't just about the grades. It's about the stories, the memories, and the unforgettable moments that shape who you are. So if you're heading into this adventure, embrace the chaos, laugh at the mishaps,